Who's there?
Joe. Joe who? Joe Mama. Ah.
Hey guys! Oh my god, I look like such an idiot with those glasses. Anyway, hey guys, what's up? I am totally not Harry Potter in disguise. Definitely not. Anyway, might as well get rid of this wand.
Oh no! Anyway.
But today, I'm going to be ranking the Harry Potter books from the worst to the best. Now, I literally spent this entire summer reading these books because honestly, I've seen these movies like 1,000 times, but I never read the books. I know it's kind of weird. Like, for most people, it's the other way around. No, for me, I saw the movies a bunch and I never read the books, but I read them this summer. They were pretty awesome, you know? I mean, they're like basically the most popular book series in the world, and honestly with good reason. I mean, they were great books, but some of them were better than others. Now make sure to leave your ranking of the Harry Potter books down in the comments below. Also remember, I'm trying to get to 100 subs by 2022, so make sure you hit that subscribe button, and let's go ahead and get started. In last place, we have Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. So this book is definitely good, okay? So I enjoyed reading it, and obviously I had the mindset of I'm gonna read all of these books over this summer, so I wasn't just gonna quit on the first book, even if it is the worst one in my opinion. So I just want to put out there, I think this book is good, I think it is enjoyable, but I also definitely think it is the worst Harry Potter book of them all. And one of those reasons is because it's basically just like the movie in almost every way. The only things that were changed are actually better in the movie than in the book. So, you know, this one's good, but it's also like identical to the movie, and since I've seen the movie 1,000 times, the book didn't seem that special or that enjoyable to me. It just seemed like reading the movie as a book or something. But let's put some of those complaints aside, and also let's put some of those voice cracks aside. That was terrible. I'm terrible. Everything is awesome. No, the opposite. But yeah, this book is pretty good. You know, it does start off with the Dursleys and all of that stuff, and then Harry goes to Hogwarts, and there is some cool magic that you see at Hogwarts for the first time, so that is definitely very nice. And then at the end of this book, you have the whole thing with the Sorcerer's Stone and everything. So, like I said, this is a good book, an enjoyable book, but it is also my least favorite book. Well, of this series. It's not like the worst book ever, okay? Okay, don't sue me, J.K. Rowling! In sixth place, we have Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. So, basically, this book to me is just the Sorcerer's Stone, but everything is slightly better. I mean, I love the basilisk. I think that is a really cool creature, and it was definitely very nice in this book. So that was really cool. Unfortunately, this is another book that was a lot like the movie. So to me specifically, it wasn't all that interesting to read because I'd already pretty much read it before. But I guess it was a movie, but you know, you get the point. I'd basically been there, done that, you know? So, I don't know, that was definitely a flaw. One problem that I do have with this book is the fact that in the movie, you have like this big battle with the basilisk, but in the book it's like half as long. So that's not a problem with the book, obviously, but I've just seen the movie, so, you know, it's kind of annoying to me, but that's just because I'm stupid, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I like the beginning of this book with the flying car and the Whomping Willow and stuff. And you have Gilderoy Lockhart and the Chamber of Secrets and all that stuff. So overall, this one is basically just the first book, but everything is slightly better. And I do think it is really good. Stop! If you're watching this video, make sure to comment down below, because the person with the best comment from this video will get a shout out in the next video. Here's the person with the best comment from the last video. Very nice. And let's continue. In 5th place, we have Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. So, okay, a lot of you guys are probably really pissed at me right now because you're like, fucking hell, Morgan, this is the best book ever. Well, I'm sorry, but I think this book is extremely overrated. I mean, a lot of people say it is the best Harry Potter book, and I don't know, man, it just didn't do it for me. I didn't think it was that great, and I think the ones later on far outshine this book. But my personal opinion of this book, I mean, the beginning of this one, I didn't like all that much. Like the first third or so, I don't know, it just didn't do anything for me, and I was kind of like, okay, I don't really like this. Now, one really good thing about this book, though, I will say, is that all the characters are getting older, like, you know, Harry, Ron, and Hermione. So I do think this book is a little bit more mature than the first two, and that does definitely help a good bit. The best part of this book, in my opinion, is the middle of the book, and I don't really know why. That's probably where, like, the least interesting stuff is happening, but I don't know. There's just a lot of Quidditch and teen stuff, and I don't know. I liked the middle of this book a lot, and also the end of this book was definitely very cool, with a lot of stuff with Sirius Black and everything. So overall, I do like this book a lot. It is definitely better than the first two books, but I also think it is pretty overrated. In 4th place, we have Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. So, obviously, I just got finished reading The Goblet of Fire and The Order of the Phoenix. And I'll get to that later, but let's just say I don't think those books are too bad, And I was expecting this one to be great as well. I mean, I don't really know why. I don't think the movie is that good, but I don't know. I was expecting this one to be really good, and it was really good, but it was not on the same level as some of the other later books that are really big. And yeah, I mean, a lot of this book is kind of boring, I mean, honestly, is much less, like, climactic than the last two. Like, the pacing and everything was going, more and more and more up until Order of the Phoenix, and then this one happens, and it's kind of just like, oh, it drops like a stone, So, this book is kind of boring. A lot of this book doesn't really have much special going for it, but some of the pluses of this book, I just love the romance between Harry and Ginny. I don't know why, but I've always liked that, even in the movies, but it was even better in the books, and that was honestly my favorite part of this entire book. I just really liked that relationship. It was very compelling, I mean, I'm not a guy that watches Hallmark movies and all that shit, I'm not, like, into the romance and the shipping and stuff, like ShadowFang of Thunderclan, haha, gets shouted out and called out, what's English again? I forget sometimes. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, basically, I like that relationship a lot. It's very compelling, as I said, and now I'm just repeating myself, so I'll move on to the next point. So, my next point is that you have a lot of stuff with Dumbledore in this book, and I think Dumbledore is a pretty cool character, and a lot of the stuff with him in this book was definitely very nice. You had him and Harry trying to find out more about Tom Riddle and everything, and I liked that a lot. Also, you had the big, sort of sequence in the cave, and that was cool. And then you had Dumbledore's death, which I kind of liked that better in the book because you had Harry under the invisibility cloak, and that was just, I feel like, a little bit of a better decision than just having him stand there or whatever. And then right after that, you have the big battle at Hogwarts, which doesn't actually happen in the movie. So, to someone that saw the movies before the books, that was really cool to see. And there's some stuff with Snape, you had the funeral of Dumbledore's. So, there are some pluses of this book, but I also think it is pretty underwhelming, and a lot of it is kind of boring. In 3rd place, we have Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Now, this pains me to put it this low. I mean, part of me really wants to put this one in 1st place, but I just can't bring myself to do it. Now, one of my favorite things about this book is the beginning. Like, the first 100 pages or so of this book are just epic. Like, there's huge action sequences, and you have Harry, Ron, and Hermione doing their own thing, going into the Ministry of Magic and everything. So the very beginning of this book is really, really good. Also, the very end of this book is pretty epic as well, as you have Harry versus Lord Voldemort. You also have the stuff, with Snape, you know, and his memories and everything. So the very end of this book was really epic, as well as the beginning of this book. Now, the only reason this one isn't in first place, because it is really epic if we're gonna be honest, I just think most of the middle of this book is definitely good. It's definitely better than most of the Harry Potter books, but I do think it kind of drags at times, and it's less enjoyable than my top 2 picks. So that is the reason it isn't in first place. But I mean, come on, the epic final battle, like I said, the beginning of this book, and this is the end of the Harry Potter series. You know, it just perfectly wraps up that whole series with the conclusion, the epilogue, all that mess. It's like a full-on war, and this book was awesome. I think maybe one problem I had with it was that I kind of rushed the end of it, but, you know, even with that said, this one's awesome. I think the middle isn't, you know, as good as the beginning of the end, so that's why it isn't in first place, but it definitely deserves to be in the top 3. In second place, we have Harry Potter and the Goblet of the Fire. Now, this is actually my favorite Harry Potter movie, as you can see from this poster. So that's pretty cool, and I was definitely excited to see how my favorite movie would be as the book, and it was awesome. It was epic. I mean, it's pretty much just as good as the movie in my opinion, and there's so many great things about this one. You know, I love the beginning of it with the big Quidditch World Cup or whatever, and that was really cool, and obviously that wasn't in the movie, but that was in the book, so I like that a lot. You have the Tri-Wizard Tournament, which is an amazing event, and it makes this one really stand out a lot. Now, my favorite thing about this movie was Voldemort, and he is definitely not bad in the book either. I mean, there's like 50 or 60 pages of this book that's just in the graveyard with Harry and Voldemort, and I love that so much. So, this book, it has the Tri-Wizard Tournament. I love the beginning. I love Voldemort, you know, and even there's a lot of like kind of filler stuff throughout this book that I love a lot as well. You have like Spew or whatever, and the big Yule Ball dance, and this just feels like a lengthy, filled out, awesome book that is just as good as one of my favorite movies of all time. But before I give my top pick, remember to leave your ranking of the Harry Potter books down in the comments below, and let's go ahead and continue. But in first place, we have Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Now, this one is basically just like the Goblet of the Fire, except it's even more different than that book. Like, Goblet of Fire, the book is definitely a lot different than the movie, but in my opinion, the movie did a really good job of translating that over while still being a decent size instead of like 4 or 5 hours, you know? Like, it definitely, there's a lot of stuff that was taken out of the movie, but it is definitely well made, and I like it a lot. Now, the Order of the Phoenix movie, on the other hand, I like that one a lot too. I mean, it is actually one of the better Harry Potter movies, in my opinion, but at the same time, it does feel a little bit rushed at times, and that is obviously probably because this is the longest Harry Potter book. I love this Harry Potter book. I mean, it's just so big. It's a thick boy, as I like to call it. I mean, this book is huge. It's like almost 900 pages. Yeah, and the book itself is obviously great. Sirius is in this book a lot. He dies at the end of it, and also at the end, you have the huge battle in the Department of Mysteries. That was way different in the book than in the movie, and honestly, I kind of liked it more in the book. I mean, there was just so many cool things going on, and it was like 100 pages of this huge battle, and you also had Voldemort versus Dumbledore, so the end of this book was definitely really good. And even besides that, this one is just very interesting and unique compared to the other Harry Potter books. You have Harry Potter getting expelled, and you know, you have the Ministry interfering with Hogwarts, and Umbridge, she's a great character, even if she is an evil son of a bitch, and everyone hates her, you know, she needs to burn in hell, right? She's just a really good character, and she's very compelling in this book. So I like her a lot, even if I also kind of hate her, but she's just very well written. So this book has a really good story, it has an amazing end, And even besides that, there's just so much filler stuff in this book that makes it so big and awesome. And I don't really know why this is my favorite book, but it just really speaks to me. And I think it was the best Harry Potter book. But anyway, guys, that does conclude this ranking video. Remember to leave your ranking of the Harry Potter books down in the comments below. I'm probably going to be doing more of these Harry Potter rankings soon, as I'm about to finish rewatching the movies for the trillionth time. But with all that said, make sure to get lost, hit the road, take a hike, and I will see you on the next video.